My guest today from London, England, is Nicholas McHugh. Nicholas is the PR guy and a whole bunch of other things that he does for a company there called nPower. And they are involved in electrification and the deployment of electric vehicle charging systems, among other things that they do there. So we wanted to talk to him and get sort of a view of what nPower is about, but also sort of what the status of electric vehicle deployment in England, the UK, where we're at in that. So first of all, Nicholas, thank you for braving London traffic on a Friday evening to come over to McCann Erickson and do this Skype video. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you, my pleasure.
I guess you ran into not only traffic but a little weather as well then on your motorbike.
It's typical of England, of course. Yeah, it never rains, but it pours.
But it pours, exactly. Well, look, let's start off first of all by having you tell us. I don't know that I can say I'm all that familiar with nPower, and I'm sure that many of our viewers aren't either. So let's begin by maybe having you just tell us, who is nPower?
nPower is Britain's fourth largest energy company. We operate a number of power stations across the country. We also are Britain's largest wind farm operator. And we supply and generate electricity to about 6.5 million customers and about 300,000 businesses across Britain.
Okay, so you don't have necessarily a particular service area, London, the south of England, but you really have customers that are pretty much scattered across the country then.
Yeah, the market in England has changed, or Britain rather, has changed since the 1990s, since the privatisation of the industry. There are approximately 6 major players within the industry where customers, no matter where they live, can switch supplier if they're unhappy with the price or the quality of service. And there are a large number of smaller players, more bespoke energy companies who are active within the market, who also offer a similar service, whether it's based on price or environmental products.
Okay, so it's different than what much of the here in the United States, where you have a utility that pretty much has a service area and services those people within that, but generally those people don't have a choice as to who their provider is going to be. Here in the UK,
that's what I understand.
Yeah, here in the UK,
yeah,
then
so
you have that choice.
Very much so. It doesn't matter where you live. You have a variety of choices of energy supply. It all depends on how you'd like to pay, whether you want to pay by monthly direct debit or if you want to pay your energy bills on a quarterly basis. Or in some cases, a lot of customers decide to choose to pay as you go. And each supplier has a different range of tariffs and products that they bring to market to encourage, obviously, new customers to their business. Britain's regarded as perhaps the most liberalised market, certainly in Europe, if not maybe arguably the world.
Okay, so how is that working out generally? Now, obviously you work for nPower. I don't know if they give you a special rates or anything, but how is that working out for the people in the UK? Typically, what can they expect in terms of either service or how much they pay for electricity there?
Well, the average annual energy bill over in Britain at the moment, but gas and electricity, with gas taking 2/3 of the average annual bill, is around about £1,200 sterling. Given the current rate, we're probably looking upwards of about $1,800 to $2,000.
Okay.
One of the cheapest rates in Europe at the moment, and that's probably thanks part and due to the levels of competition that we have here in Britain.
Okay.
So customers, like I say, they'll decide on choice in terms of price. A lot of energy suppliers now, it's not enough just to supply gas and electricity to consumer. There are a lot of ancillary services that energy suppliers are starting to provide, like boiler care or central heating care, even air conditioning, service requirements, etc., etc.
Right.
And what is perhaps unique to us here in Britain is that we're actually mandated by our government to actually help our customers reduce the level of their energy consumption year on year.
Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about then what your involvement is specifically then with electric vehicles. What's nPower doing in that area?
Well, our parent company, RWE, who are based in Essen in Germany, for the last couple of years, been undertaking large-scale trials in partnership with Daimler in Berlin. Arguably, Berlin is perhaps the world's most advanced city when it comes to electric vehicle infrastructure. We know that major motoring manufacturers are starting to go into full-scale production this year. In Britain, there's a term around at the moment, certainly within the energy industry and the motoring industry, that this is the year of the electric vehicle. More and more models are coming on stream every day, and it's great to have these vehicles. However, they do need the infrastructure. That means being able to charge your vehicle at home, at your place of work, and in public spaces. Our parent company, RWE, have been at the forefront in terms of developing technology and this infrastructure. And what we're doing between now and the end of the year is bring this technology back to Britain. The energy industry has a huge role to play here in Britain in relation to the advocacy of electric vehicles. As I mentioned before, we're mandated to help our customers reduce their energy consumption. We help businesses reduce their energy consumption. And we have a vital role to help the transport industry reduce their carbon footprint, or their emissions rather, from the volumes of traffic on the road. So if we can help customers through the provision of tariffs, especially design tariffs, and we can help fleet managers to reduce their carbon emissions and provide cheap electricity for these vehicles, then we can see quite rapidly the proliferation of electric vehicles here in Britain.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what's available there at the moment? I mean, if I were in Britain, what could I lease or buy?
Yeah, there's a lot of variety actually at the moment. I know that Renault have a number of vehicles that are due on stream out here, including the Twizy, the Kangoo, which is their vehicle, which they're having some success retailing at the moment through fleet services. The Kangoo is doing extraordinarily well. The Nissan Leaf, we've got the Peugeot Ion. Obviously, we've had the Tesla for a couple of years. I think everybody's excited about the Tesla S when it comes on stream.
Right.
The Mitsubishi i-MiEV. There's the vehicle from Citroën, and also the Chevrolet Volt. The British government are actually incentivizing the purchase of these vehicles with grants on a number of them. You can actually get a £5,000 sterling grant, so about $8,000, because the costs over here for these vehicles are quite expensive.
Right.
But through economies of scale, when the manufacturers go into full-scale production, these costs should start to come down before the end of the year.
Right.
We think between now and 2014, 300,000 electric vehicles will be on Britain's roads, which is a significant right now.
Right now, is there a... Go ahead.
So the industry itself, we believe, is worth to motor manufacturers about £7 billion over that 3-year period. That doesn't include what it could potentially be worth to the energy industry over here through the provision of, like I said, the infrastructure and charging points at work and in the business place as well, but also public spaces are required for charging vehicles as well.
Right. Now, what kind of interaction? Obviously, this is going to require some coordination between companies like nPower and the manufacturers, because you're going to want to know who those people are, where they are, and that type of thing. So what kind of interaction is there between your company and the OEMs there?
There are already a number of partnerships that are starting to take shape between energy suppliers and major motoring manufacturers. For instance, should you purchase an electric vehicle, say a dealership, they might recommend an energy supplier, one perhaps for their cheap tariff, and also for the installation of a home charging point. So it's a bit like to kind of put it into different words, where washing machine manufacturers would recommend a detergent every time it's exactly like that. So whenever you sell an electric car, they would recommend an energy supplier. Okay. And so we're in negotiations with several motoring manufacturers, as are the other energy suppliers, of course, as well.
Okay.
Talking about it as well, I know there are concerns in terms of the relation to the cost and where that energy comes from. What we're able to do here in Britain is we will, our tariff itself will match your consumption that goes into your vehicle when you charge it overnight from renewable sources. So as I mentioned, you know, we're Britain's largest operator of wind farms. So we will, every kilowatt hour that goes into your car, we will put a kilowatt hour of renewable energy back into the grid.
Okay, good. So in effect, you're offsetting that with green energy then?
Yeah, very much so, and that's independently audited. There are very strong guidelines as to what you can retail as green energy or renewable energy, as I prefer to call it. So whilst, you know, for wind farmers in North Wales or Scotland, you can't deliver that energy directly into somebody's property, you deliver it directly back into the grid. We have independent auditors that come in and verify that, you know, we do what we say. So that consumer at the end of the day is guaranteed that if it's, you know, 1,000 kilowatt hours per year that goes into the vehicle, then that's what we put back into the grid on their behalf.
Okay.